Hello everyone, and welcome to the March for Marrow 2021 Global Virtual Kickoff. I'm Tina Servasio from Fox 5 New York, where I'm the lead sports anchor and host of Sports Extra. We hope you and your families are all safe and sound as we come to you virtually for the first time in 2021 with the health and well-being of our patients, family members, friends, our faculty, everybody as our top priority. AAMDSIF has decided to hold all of our Marches for Marrow in 2021 as virtual events. COVID-19 has altered so much of our lives, and we thought that coming together as a community virtually was the best way to walk or run to spread awareness for bone marrow failure diseases. So let's get started. Okay, so were you able to walk or run a 5K wherever you are? If so, good for you. And if you have not already done so, make sure to send pictures of your walk to Amy at afarone@poweredbyprofessionals.com. And don't forget to share your photos on social media and use these hashtags. Hashtags AAMDSIF, hashtag March for Marrow, and hashtag I Run for AAMDS. You can also send your 5K time to Amy. If you didn't, use Strava so that we can make sure to record it. All right. So why are we here today? Our goal is to raise awareness for bone marrow failure disease. The Aplastic Anemia and MDS International Foundation provides education, support, and hope for patients living with aplastic anemia, MDS, PNH, and related bone marrow failure diseases. Now, events like these don't succeed on their own. It takes support of our global communities like yours, as well as all of our sponsorship partners. So a big thank you to all of you for your participation of forming teams to raise funds and to search for a cure for bone marrow failure diseases and support the patients who are living with it. We would also like to give a big thank you to our March for Marrow national sponsors. Gold sponsor, Alexion. Bronze sponsors, Apellis, Acceleron, and Novartis. And let's give all of our sponsors a virtual applause. Thank you. So at this time, we are going to check in with Janice Freyangel, CEO and Executive Director of AAMDSIF, who has a very special message for all of us.
Hello and welcome to the 2021 March for Marrow Virtual Walk and 5K series. I'm Janice Freyangel. I'm the CEO of Aplastic Anemia and MDS International Foundation. As we all know, bone marrow failure disease can strike any person at any age, any gender, or any race, anywhere in the world. Patients are searching for answers, support, and hope from AAMDSIF. We're thrilled that you're joining us to celebrate these patients and raise funds and awareness for aplastic anemia, MDS, PNH, and related bone marrow diseases. We are a patient-focused, patient-centered organization serving patients and families throughout the three phases of bone marrow failure disease: the life-changing phase of diagnosis, the life-threatening phase of treatment, and the lifelong phase of living with the chronic disease. AAMDS provides the community that people need when they're feeling isolated, the support system for patients and their families. Thank you to the national sponsors that made this possible: Alexion, Acceleron, and Apellis. And thank you all for making this happen by walking and running and just supporting AAMDS and the whole community. We truly appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Janice. And now we have a video from several of our event organizers. Let's hear their stories.
Hello everyone, my name is Saira Sufi, and this is
Zachariah Rashid.
And we are here to tell you that we participate in the AAMDS International Foundation March for Marrow because
to support aplastic anemia research and honor my twin brother, Hadi.
Hadi passed away from aplastic anemia in October of 2018, and we use the March for Marrow in order to support research and fundraising to hopefully find a cure for aplastic anemia. Please support us. Thank you. Goodbye. Boy, boy.
My name is Debbie Ziff Cook, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Aplastic Anemia and MDS International Foundation. I'm also a patient. I was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia in 2003. I'm excited to invite you to join us for a virtual March for Marrow 5K during 2021. Since all of our March for Marrow events will be virtual this year, you can create your own events or you can join one of the ones we've scheduled. We've got events taking place across Texas, California, Michigan, New York, and Washington, D.C. The beauty of virtual 5Ks is that you can do them from anywhere across the U.S. or across the globe. My husband and I attended our first March for Marrow 5K in Washington, D.C. in 2016. We brought along our dog for that 5K. And in 2017, we started our own team called the Dogs Against Marrow Failure. You can follow us on Instagram. Even though this year's 5K events will be virtual, you can still build a sense of community by creating your own team or joining a team that exists and inviting people you know to join with you. All of our March for Marrow 5K events have the same 3 goals. We want to raise awareness in the broader community for these rare bone marrow failure diseases. We want to create a sense of community amongst all the participants, and we want to raise funds to help support research for new treatments and ultimately cures. If you're interested in joining a March for Marrow 5K event, please go to www.marchformarrow.org. Thanks, and be well.
Hi, my name is Mary White. I'm one of 3, which includes our 2 daughters, Courtney and Mallory, that are the Tartan Trailblazers fundraising group for AAMDS in the Detroit area. Our journey began in Thanksgiving 2014 when my husband and father to 2 girls was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia. 5 months later, in 2015, he lost his sight. It was devastating, but our go-to for information and guidance was AAMDS. That summer, we went to a walk in Coshocton, Ohio, and that was very inspiring. The next year, in 2016, our youngest daughter organized our first walk, and we've had a total of 4, 2016, 2019, since then. The best part of the walk, I think, is just coming together and feeling the support that you get from family, friends, and also you're able to reach out to those who are in the same predicament, and they feel like they're alone as well. That's the best thing that comes out of those walks. But hopefully, after 2021, we can get back to the actual in-person walks. AAMDS has been a great help to all of us. Thank you, AAMDS.
Hello, we are Bill and Stephanie Hamm, parents of Garrett John Hamm, who passed away in 1997 from aplastic anemia, which had mutated to myelodysplastic syndrome, or MDS, which today most experts agree is a form of blood and bone marrow cancer. Following a risky but apparently successful bone marrow transplant, Garrett's body developed a dangerous Aspergillus fungal infection, which he was unable to overcome. Even though Garrett passed away in 1997, Stephanie and I want to share why we are involved in March for Marrow.
Thank you, Bill. As a member of the Board of Directors of the Aplastic Anemia and MDS International Foundation and co-chair with Bill of the Texas and California March for Marrow 5K runs and patient and family walks, I'm particularly excited about this global opportunity. Certainly, it is much more fun being together, walking and running, whether here in Texas or in California. However, in the last 10 months, we have learned how many more people we can touch through the miracle of these online platforms with our message of hope, community building, and better treatments for our rare and chronic diseases. Just think, our scientific symposium this past summer, which usually registers 200 to 300 doctors, research fellows, and scientists, attracted 697 participants from 32 different countries. Therefore, we want to be equally successful with our 2021 virtual March for Marrow events, taking them statewide in some cases. so that we bring visibility to our disease group among doctors, nurses, and their hospitals on behalf of our patients and families here in the United States. We now have the possibility of connecting with people from north to south in Canada, Mexico, Central and South America. Hopefully, those events on the East Coast can touch parts of Western and Eastern Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia.
Actually, we adopted our son Garrett here in Texas, but he was from Thailand. We know that rates of bone marrow failure diseases are still high in that country. Families everywhere need to know that their doctors and ours are working every day to find the causes of these diseases and cancers so that we can eliminate them. The goals for our 2021 March for Marrow events in Texas, California, Michigan, New York, and Washington, D.C. are educating the general public about these rare diseases and doctors and nurses in small rural communities who might only see a handful of bone marrow disease cases during their careers. Mutual support and community building with other patients in their towns, states, and countries around the globe through events like this. Raising funds for patient and family services at AAMDSIF and research for better treatment leading to cures. Identifying the best medical facilities and experts for treatment in your part of the world. Eventually, we do not have to limit ourselves to these few initiatives. We look forward to a time when every year we can support similar events throughout our hemisphere and indeed globally.
This year, you can join all of our 2021 virtual events from wherever you are and walk, run, and fundraise. And please let us know you are out there. We want to get to know you and your community and advocate for better care for you and support for your doctors and nurses. Log in online to www.marchformarrow.org. Post a chat or a selfie. Create a video to share. Your story is our story. Your journey is our journey. We can't bring our son Garrett back, but we can make sure there are fewer and fewer cases like his and yours from now on. Thank you. Remember, www.marchformarrow.org.
Next, we're going to listen to remarks from our medical expert, Dr. Richard Stone. Dr. Stone is the Chief of Staff and Director of Translational Research of the Adult Leukemia Program at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Dr. Stone is also a professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. I, for one, am looking forward to hearing Dr. Stone's words of wisdom. Over to you, Dr. Stone.
Hello, my name is Richard Stone, and I'm professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. And I'm so pleased to be able to say a few remarks at the beginning of the March for Marrow, sponsored by the International Aplastic Anemia and MDS Foundation. This is a fantastic organization, and I can't thank you enough for supporting it. This organization, as you know, is dedicated to improving the care and outcome for patients with bone marrow failure syndromes, which encompass several diseases, including aplastic anemia, where the bone marrow ceases to function normally, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, where there's too much inflammation and breakdown of red blood cells and too much clotting, and finally, myelodysplastic syndrome, which is a disease where the bone marrow is working too hard, but not producing enough peripheral cells, such as red cells, which carry oxygen, white cells, which fight infection, and platelets, which prevent bleeding. We're making great strides in all these diseases, and time permits me only to discuss some of the major findings and interesting research in myelodysplastic syndrome. MDS is a heterogeneous disease. Some patients with lower risk disease can live for many years and do pretty well with just transfusions and not too much therapy, whereas other patients have more aggressive diseases where they can convert to AML or have bone marrow failure in a relatively short period of time from the time of diagnosis. But there have been major strides in understanding how MDS works. Some of the scientists that, in fact, have been supported by the AAMDS Foundation have begun to understand the underpinnings of MDS and have been able to classify MDS based on the genetic and cytogenetic abnormalities that characterize the disease, the very mutations that cause the disease to occur, perhaps by random chance, in many cases, are understood and can be potentially exploited by new therapies. Specifically, there's a drug called luspatercept, which works particularly well in situations where there's an SF3B1 mutation, which is not all that uncommon amongst MDS patients. This drug was recently approved and can ameliorate the transfusional burden in many MDS patients. For those with high-risk disease, those who might tend to convert to acute leukemia or have more immediate problems, there's a new oral agent called oral decitabine with cytidine deaminase inhibitor. It's a pill that can replace or be used instead of the more traditional drugs used in high-risk MDS, namely decitabine and azacitidine. But what's really exciting is our ability to perform research with new drugs that might make a real impact in the natural issue of MDS. One of these drugs is called venetoclax, which can help the hypomethylating agents I mentioned work better to kill the bad cells in MDS. Another drug is anti-CD47 antibodies, which can potentially help the immune system eliminate bad MDS cells. And there's a third drug called APR-246 that may be able to refold a mutant molecule called P53, which when mutated is associated with a very serious disease. So I'm very excited to say we're on the verge of some therapeutic breakthroughs, and we're certainly undergoing a special time in the understanding of these diseases. It's through the help of people like you who support our organization, which will hasten these strides and enable us to help patients with these diseases even more quickly. So thank you very much, and we'll continue to work hard to help patients with these diseases. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks, Dr. Stone, for your insight and knowledge. We really appreciate you. Well, it is now my pleasure to present the Walk Star Award to a very special person, Elena Numbers. Elena has experienced more in her 5 years than most do in a lifetime, but she still keeps her spirits and her sass intact in the face of adversity. After diagnosis with aplastic anemia and a successful transplant, Elena and her family want to do all they can to help other patients and families. And they will tell you to, quote, celebrate each victory no matter how small. 2020 has been rough, Elena's mom says, but she is so thankful for everyone's health.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much to the AAMDS International Foundation for recognizing Elena with this wonderful award for her courageous battle and bravery that she's had within these last 2 years.
For those of you that don't know, back in July of 2019, right after we got married, like immediately, Elena was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia. Fortunately for us, her little brother was a 10 out of 10 match. So with that being said, they moved pretty quick on it. Within 8 weeks, she had got the transplant and was moving forward on the right road, in the right direction. So we thank you guys for all your support, for everything that you guys have done. And we've received nothing but love from everybody involved. So thank you.
Do you want to say anything? Do you want to say thank you? Okay.
Thank you for the gift.
And thank you again. I remember when we first heard about aplastic anemia, we didn't know anything about it. And then I came across the AAMDS International Foundation, and I remember them sending me a whole packet of just information, education, resources for the whole family. So we learned a lot within the short amount of time. And so by supporting the AAMDS Foundation, you're not only helping families like ours, you're helping other families receive the education, the resources, and the patient support that they need to help get through this. So again, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you and congratulations once again, Elena. You are truly, truly a star. Well, at this time, I would like to present the Compassionate Care Award. This award honors individuals in the medical field who have demonstrated outstanding care, compassion, and dedication to AAMDS patients. It is my great pleasure to introduce our Compassionate Care Award winner, Eileen Galinsky. Eileen is a senior program research nurse practitioner in the adult leukemia program at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Congratulations, Eileen.
Hi, my name is Eileen Galinsky. I'm a nurse practitioner at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, Massachusetts. I am honored and I am humbled to accept this Compassionate Care Award given to me today by the AAMDS International Foundation. I have been a nurse practitioner at the Dana-Farber for over 32 years, caring for patients with MDS and other bone marrow disorders. During that time, I have witnessed great strength and courage by our patients, as well as strides in the care and treatment options and supportive measures for patients with MDS. This was not led by one individual, but a collaboration between brilliant clinicians and scientists, such as Dr. Richard Stone, who's being honored today, as well as the AAMDS International Foundation. The foundation not only supports patients and their families, but also supports clinical research and clinical education. It is important that we continue this fight to collaborate and work together to identify better treatments, improve diagnostics, and better supportive care to hopefully lead to eradication of this disease. I want to thank the foundation for its support and efforts. I also want to thank the patients and their families for their work, their efforts, their strength, and courage. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. We now have a very special treat for you. We have a message from Connie Britton, the Emmy Award and Golden Globe nominated actress and AAMDSIF advocate. Take it away, Connie.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I am so honored to welcome you today virtually. This is a very unusual way to do this, but I'm hoping that it's meant that more people will be able to join this year. And I can only imagine that today, and in this climate, this is even more difficult for MDS patients and aplastic anemia patients. And so I want to personally send you my love and my support, and to say that you are in the right place right now today. And I'm so happy that I can be here joining you. My dad lost his battle to MDS in 2008, but he lived a really wonderful and fulfilling life for probably about 7 years with MDS. And, you know, he fought the good fight, and my dad was a scientist, so he really believed in being able to find treatment and find a cure for this. And so he became very involved. He became very involved with the board, and really kind of made it his passion to try to understand the disease better and be as much of a help as he could in the fight to find a cure. So I am here today in support of him, in honor of him, in memory of him. So since my dad's death, I've tried to stay as involved as I can with the Aplastic Anemia and MDS International Foundation, and the incredible work that they do and that they've been doing for the past 36 years. I have walked with you, I have supported you, I have tweeted out about you. The walks have been particularly great. I've been able to walk in both Austin, Texas and in Los Angeles, California. And all the time thinking about my dad. But I always feel so good about it because I really know the incredible work that this organization is doing and the valuable work that's being done, the number of patients that are being served, the incredible research that's being done, and the support that's being given, and the hope that's being given. And especially in today's world where hope seems sometimes far-flung, this is a place where we can find that, and we can find it together, and we can find it with the incredible work that this foundation is doing. And I hope that you'll continue to help support this wonderful organization and the great work that they do, whether you have a loved one who's affected by bone marrow diseases, or you are just inspired and hopeful about what we can do for the future.
Thank you so much, Connie, for sharing your personal story and all of your support. Once again, let me please thank all of our March for Marrow national sponsors. Gold sponsor, Alexion. Bronze sponsors, Apellis, Acceleron, and Novartis. Congratulations to our super fundraisers, today's honorees, and all of our teams. AAMDSIF truly appreciates your support. The foundation's strength stems from the multifaceted community it developed over 37 years ago. AAMDSIF serves and educates the patient population and health professionals and provides financial support to clinical researchers searching for better treatments and cures. So stick around if you want to do some stretching exercises. We have a special treat for you. Jenny Finkel is a yoga, Pilates, and fitness instructor. She lives in Chicago with her husband and sometimes collaborator, Dr. Tim Pearman. Oh, and by the way, their adorable rescue dog is there too, and frequent Zoom crasher, Clementine. Thanks again to all of our participants, and have a great day.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for participating in the March for Marrow. My name is Jenny Finkel, and I am going to get you stretched out. Let's start in a kneeling position. If you have a yoga mat, that's great. If you have yoga blocks or books that you like to use when you stretch, you can grab those. We'll start with the right foot forward, low lunge. Bring your hands to that front thigh, and you can use your hands for support as you find a little moment of adjustment here. You might sort of shift the hips forward and back. And if you feel good, stay here. Otherwise, you can try inhaling to reach your arms up, lengthen through the spine, deep breath in. On your exhale, bring your hands down to frame that right foot. Again, blocks might be helpful. Roll onto the heels, send the hips back and the heart forward. Straightening your right leg, a little hamstring stretch for the front leg. Good. Shift forward again to the sole of that foot. Let's take one more big inhale. Perfect. Exhale, bring both hands down inside your right foot and knee and step that right foot back. We'll do side two. Left foot steps forward. Find that low lunge. Give yourself a moment to make any adjustments you need here. Feeling the front of that right hip open up. And again, hands to the front thigh for support might feel great, but it also might feel good to inhale, take a big reach up. You can almost find a little sense of a back bend here. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands down, frame that left foot, hamstring stretch, roll to the heel, straighten the leg any amount, doesn't have to come all the way straight. Keep your spine long, heart reaches forward towards the toes, toes lift up towards your heart. Good. Roll forward again to the sole of that foot. One more big inhale, reach up. Perfect, hands down to the mat. Swing that left leg back, find your way into a seated position. So we're gonna have the feet in front of us. We'll do a little stretch for your hips. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Try to flex this right foot, that'll stabilize your knee. If you need a little more space, take the left foot further away from you. And if you need a little bit more of a stretch for this right hip, slide the left foot closer to you and or lift your left toes up. Either or both of those two little actions will get you a little deeper into that right hip. Keep the spine tall, chest open. Perfect. Gently release. We'll do the other side. I'll turn sideways just to give you a different view. But it's the same stretch. This time we'll do the left leg. And give yourself a little space. Slide the right foot forward. Flex your left foot. Cross left ankle over right knee. Tall spine. Again, if you need a little bit of a deeper stretch, right heel closer to your hips and or lift those right toes up. Keep your spine tall, chest open. The longer your spine is, the more you're going to access this stretch. Perfect. Gently release out of that. You can give those little legs a shake. We're going to come up to stand. Any way you want to find your way up to your feet. Take your feet wide and parallel, so all 10 toes forward. Hands to your hips, lift the heart, bend a nice tall spine. As you exhale, fold forward, bring your hands down to the mat. So you don't have to go very far, and again, blocks are your friends. You can also have a little bend in the knees here, but we're gonna take a side lunge, bending the right knee, keep the left leg straight, left hand stays down on the mat, right arm reaches up. Come back through center, keep your spine long, straighten the right leg, bend the left knee, hips back, left arm reaches. So you're taking a little twist towards your bent knee side. Back to center, straighten that left leg, hands to your hips, come up through center. Let's turn the heels in and the toes out, toes angle out wide. Take a big reach up. Sit the hips low, so you're in a wide squat, and right away you can bring your hands to your inner thighs or to your knees. So you're kind of helping those hips open. You can take a little slide side to side, and I like this twist, dipping your shoulder towards your opposite knee. Very gently. Other side. Good. And back to center. Heel toe your feet back into about shoulder width. Let's finish with a big reach up. Interlace your fingers. Palms up, soft knees. Take a side bend to the right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, lift. Separate your hands. Find a little standing back bend here. Lift the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Great work, team.